In the early 2000s, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was damn near unstoppable at the restrictor plate tracks. When NASCAR showed up at Daytona and Talladega from 2001 to about 2017, Jr. was nearly always the man to beat. While his most famous superspeedway victories came out of Daytona, he was most dominant of all at the Talladega Superspeedway. How dominant was he? Well, more on that right after this. Fall has arrived, which means school is starting, the NASCAR season's ending, and you probably have less free time than you've had all year. That's where HelloFresh comes in. HelloFresh fits right into your routine with fresh, delicious food that saves time and is also sustainable, so it'll be ready when you are. I have tons going on right now. I have stuff with my channel, I have a podcast I host, college, a bunch more, so having delicious food that's easily available to me is a must. I've been trying also to eat healthy, so I chose the low-calorie option from HelloFresh. Here, I'm having the creamy chive chicken meal with lemony rice and roasted broccoli, and I gotta tell you, it was really good, and I got to spend some time with my grandma and prepare it with her. So if you want easily affordable and delicious food, go to HelloFresh.com. Use code Iceberg14 to get 14 free meals plus free shipping. Again, go to HelloFresh.com. Use code Iceberg14 to get 14 free meals plus free shipping. And now, back to the show. Talladega Superspeedway, by the start of Junior's career, was Earnhardt country already. For a decade plus, Dale Earnhardt had forged a legacy of dominance that continues to be well known to this day. And at the time Dale Jr. got to Cup, Earnhardt Sr. was coming back to dominance after a brief fall-off. In the 2000 Winston 500, Dale Jr. led the closing laps while his father was mired back around 20th. In around 4 laps, the Intimidator charged up into the lead and scored what would be his 76th and final career victory of his Winston Cup career. A year later, his son would start to forge his own legacy at NASCAR's biggest and baddest track. Heading into the 2001 EA Sports 500, Jr. had already helped heal the sport in more ways than one. In July, he returned to Daytona and conquered the track that took his father's life only 5 months prior. It was a showing of mental tenacity and was the start of his dominance at the restrictor plate tracks. Then, in September, after the attacks of 9/11, he came out and came through with a W at Dover. So, when the series rolled up at Talladega, a year after his dad's last win, he looked primed to make one of the more great and emotional triumphant wins of the 2001 season. While Jr. had a great car and was one of the guys to beat, his teammate and Daytona 500 champion Michael Waltrip was just as formidable. This would be one of the huge points of building for Jr.'s Talladega dominance, the fact that DEI became the dominant force of the draft at superspeedways. But unlike the number 8 Budweiser Chevy, Waltrip's 15 Napa Auto Parts Chevy could not stay up front or on the track the way that Earnhardt managed to. And that was shown at the end of the 2001 EA Sports 500. With Waltrip out, Jr. was alone, without any drafting partner against a snarling pack.
Ricky Craven drops up behind the 55 car, trying to help Bobby Hamilton to the front.
The white flag is up. Final lap at Talladega. Who's it going to be? Labonte, Earnhardt Jr., Stewart, or maybe somebody out of the pack? Look at this move by Jr. at the white flag.
And Tony Stewart going with Jr.
Coming with you. 20's with you.
Labonte blocks Bobby Hamilton.
Cannot believe the Toyota.
Oh, contact! Bobby Labonte's over. It's the big wreck on the final lap. They're racing back for the win. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart are side by side. This is for the victory as Jeff Burton gets in the middle of it. At least 10 cars involved in the wreck on the backstretch. Burton and Stewart are side by side. That's all Earnhardt Jr. needs to see. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has won the $1 million bonus here at Talladega.
After being shuffled by the JGR Pontiacs of Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart, Jr. kept composure, and he charged back forwards. The defining moment being when Tony Stewart ditched his teammate and came with the 8 on the white flag. Now, while Smoke was Junior's drafting partner for the fall of 2001 and some others, in the spring of 2002, he had Mikey back on his bumper again. While Junior really had to earn his money in the 2001 race, the first race at 02 was pretty different. Aside from a few challenges late, he really was pretty much on a cakewalk to victory.
1 lap to go. Darrell, I think if he runs the bottom, it's going to be hard for him to get by him on the high side.
Yeah, I don't see any way. I mean, they're going to lay off of him and try to get a run on him, but he's just too fast.
1 lap ago, they got that run. If Kurt Busch can get right to the back bumper of Michael Waltrip, they may have a chance at Earnhardt Jr.
How about that Kurt Busch? Whoa, how about, that's what Dale Jr. Dale Jr. just said, how about that Kurt Busch?
But you and Michael are single file. They kind of stalemated. They stalemate.
Oh, this is Dale Jr.'s in the catbird seat now. Those guys are stalling. They're stalling out behind him.
It's just you and bring it on home, buddy.
All you got to do is worry about which way to go now for Michael. Michael doesn't want to let anybody get by him.
Trying to get a run.
They got it. First and second.
Here comes Michael to the bottom, and he's going to run out of time.
Junior led 133 of the 188 laps that day and had one of the most dominant days of his career. And while he kept a fast machine into the fall race, he wasn't as dominant. But there was a huge obstacle that hadn't been seen in the last race, and actually after this race would never be seen again in the history of the sport: a caution-free race. This meant that Earnhardt had to outlast both the entire pack and a ton of green flag pit stops. While there can be a few green flag pit stops normally every race at Talladega, it's really different when every pit stop is a green flag pit stop. It meant the team had to be completely on it. But as the last run cycled out, Junior had the lead that he would have to defend while also defending his gas tank that was running on fumes.
As the white flag flies, final lap of the EA Sports 500. Spotter says keep it on the bottom. Junior will be more than happy to comply. Behind him, Steve Park being challenged by Ryan Newman for a spot, but the front 5, single file. Kurt Busch looking for 3rd, can't do it. Ricky Rudd with a brief peek. Kurt Busch trying to find enough muster to run with him. His father won here 10 times. And now Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to become only the 2nd man in this track's history to score 3 straight wins at Talladega Superspeedway. Earnhardt Jr. to the checkered flag. He wins the EA Sports 500.
With his 3rd straight win at Talladega, it saw Junior tie Buddy Baker's record of a winning streak at the track. So then comes the 2003 Aaron's 499. In this one, Junior started out well away from the lead, which was needed as it gave him the opportunity to mostly avoid the giant crash in the opening laps. After dozens of repairing pit stops and also losing the draft, he still managed to stay in the fight for the win, even if that fight would have ended up being a controversial one.
Boy, if these guys, there they go. No,
Johnson!
I'm just going to say, if these guys make it without crashing.
Come on back to the caution. This is going to be it. Come on, baby.
If the caution comes out, this will be the race right here. If they do throw the caution, indeed. White flag is out.
No caution.
No
No
caution.
caution.
No caution. No caution. 1 lap to go. Jimmy Johnson got his car going, so we're under green. We have another almost a lap of racing.
Yeah, I just said to myself, if they can make it around without wrecking, I'll never believe that.
Now, Dale Jr. becomes the Department of Defense.
But you watch him, Darrell. I bet he'll hug that yellow line. He don't want to open up the bottom.
NASCAR has called Junior's pass a clean pass. This is for the win.
Can he do it, guys? It'd be 4 in a row. He has about a 1/4 of a lap to go. Remember, the start-finish line is way down headed into turn 1. It's not in the center of the triangle.
You can't do it, Larry. You can't make it. You're not going to pull out and pass him with a single foul like that.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., 4 straight wins at Talladega.
Junior made Talladega history with his 4th straight victory at the track. In all of his wins, he had to use different skill sets, and he had to overcome different obstacles as well. While he remained fast and dominant, of course the full-fledged dominance he had would have to end. After suffering damage again for the fall race in 2003, he fought valiantly to recover up through the pack, but ended up being the runner-up finisher to his teammate, Michael Waltrip. In the following spring, he once again fell, this time to Jeff Gordon, after the caution flew just before Earnhardt could get his nose ahead of the blue 24. This also led to Junior Nation's darkest moment. And then there's Junior's redemption at Talladega in the fall of 2004, where his post-race soundbite took away pretty much every other headline.
What does it mean to win here, not only once, but to win here 5 times?
Well, it don't mean shit right now. Daddy's done won here 10 times.
It would be over a decade more before Junior scored his 6th and final win at Talladega in 2015. But with that, I'm going to pass this all on to you. What was Junior's shining moment of dominance at Talladega to you? Which one of his 4 races? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, be sure to leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more NASCAR content like this. And also, thank you to everyone who is a channel member for your generous support. It really does mean a lot. So until next time, have a good one.